For you to write well, your grammar has to be good. For you to speak well, you must practice. Hey, this is Namdaga, your language coach. Today, I'm going to talk about the fact that if you don't know the grammar of your language, you are going to struggle to learn other languages. Why did I say this? Because over time, I discovered that those who struggle with their mother tongue's language, that is the grammar, always have problems in writing and understanding. If you're going to learn French and you don't know the English grammar, if you are English or your mother tongue is English, and you don't know the grammar of English, and you want to study French and its grammar structures, grammatical structures, you are going to struggle. You're going to struggle because the French language is a language that is very complicated, especially those who want really understand the language with its intricacies, because there are too many exceptions in French. Grammatical exceptions, there are too many of them. In fact, every law in French, grammatical law in French has exceptions. And so for you to understand these exceptions, you must, as a matter of fact, understand the grammar of your own mother tongue. If you spoke your mother tongue without really learning the rules and regulations, and you want to study a language like French that has a lot of rules and regulations, hey, you are going to struggle. I've been teaching English for the past 20 years in France to high school students and university students. And over time, I discovered many of my students who struggle in English grammar do have problems in French grammar. The speaking, they do it well. I mean, there's no problems about that. They speak. But when you're telling them or giving them lectures on English grammar, they do have problems. Because if you tell them, hey, if you want to explain the simple present tense in English, and they don't know exactly what simple present tense is in French, they use the rules all the time, but they don't know the rules grammatically. And then you're going to teach them what the rules are in English. They don't or wouldn't understand you, and they do struggle. And so this is one thing that I have discovered while teaching. I discovered that. And I know that the same thing applies, or same law applies to those who are English and want to learn French. If you don't know English grammar, you are going to struggle in French grammar. So I would advise you, if you do want to learn French, you have to brush up your English. You do have to do that. If you don't, you will spend time learning the grammar and you wouldn't understand it. You would not, until you solve the problem of English grammar. I mean, you can speak English, no problems. But do you know the grammar of English? Do you know the grammar of the language you're using? This is the reason why a lot of people struggle to understand another language, because the one they're using, the original language they're using, is not very clear in their head. Although they speak with the language, they don't make any grammar errors, but they don't know when it comes to the real structure of the language. I say, hey, this is this and this is that. They wouldn't know how to do that. I got this, I came across this problem when I was a student. When I was studying French, I discovered my English wasn't great. I started struggling, and I was struggling in French because of that, because they gave me all these grammatical structures in French, and I didn't know what they were in English. So it was a big challenge for me. I had to go and I started studying English and French at the same time, just to make sure my French is good, okay? And so if you don't know English, you're going to struggle in French. I tell you that. You just can't run away from that. So a lot of people teach you English, teach you French, without really knowing that your problem is English, or vice versa, okay? So any language you're using at all to study another language, you must make sure that language is clear. The original language is clear first before you begin to go to the new language. If you don't, you're going to struggle. Hey, because I know these two languages, I hover over these two languages, I teach them, I train people on these two languages. If you do have problems and you want to know English grammar, you want to brush up your English grammar quick before you begin to dive into French grammar, you know where to call me. You know when to reach me. You know where to reach me. Just click on my bio and get the information and call me. Either on WhatsApp, send me a mail. I will get back to you so that we can fix up an appointment. And I'll tell you what to do exactly. You don't need to spend years learning. You only know what to do. So, but for you to know what to do, you need to really meet the experts who will tell you exactly. That's this thing I call the Pareto principle. And the Pareto principle says that 20% of what you do is always responsible for 80% of the results. So my job is to give you 20% of what you should do in French or English in order to get the 80% result. Hey, call me. I'm waiting for you. Until next time, friends, please keep speaking up.